What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen written on a tombstone?
One of my favorites is a grandma had her famous cookie recipe put on her tombstone because she always said her family would get the recipe over her dead body.
So you just did Kids Meet. How was that for you?
It was pretty awesome. I love talking with kids about this stuff. They're sometimes easier to talk to than adults. Do you know what happens to someone's body when they die?
They turn into a skull and they're like,
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a little bit of time between when someone dies and when they're a skeleton. It's very rare that I get to talk to people who don't have a frame of reference for death and dying.
Yeah, is that why you use the pet reference?
Have you ever had a pet or an animal in your life die?
well, not when we were there.
Not when you were
Yeah, yeah, we weren't there. I can't imagine what I would do. My dog currently died. She's a big part of my life. So.
there. Yeah. If kids have experienced a loss, more often it's about a pet rather than a family member, unless they've been through something tragic. But often young kids, they weren't close enough to the grandparents to really be affected by a grandparent's death. How long ago did she die?
Like a couple months ago?
Mm-hmm. Did you know her very well?
No, not really. She lives in India. So.
Yeah.
Was there anything that surprised you?
Not really. I think I've heard pretty much every question there is out there.
Are there like bugs crawling around when you're decomposing?
Yeah, that's part of the cycle of life.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
So do you like paint those rocks and stuff?
Paint those rocks and stuff.
The big ones that you bury and then they say your name?
Oh, at the cemetery?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't.
Do you drive a hearse?
No. We use a minivan, and it's a little incognito too. Wouldn't know it driving by that it had a dead body in it. The windows are pretty tinted. We've scarred a couple of kids today, probably.
So what do you think is the most important thing to communicate if you're speaking to someone who's young about death?
It's really about letting them guide the conversation and not using too many euphemisms. Do you know what some other words for dying or death is?
Perished?
Perished. That's a good one.
In a video game, eliminated.
Eliminated. That's a good one. I tried to use the words death and dying more often with kids rather than passed away or, oh God, went to heaven or something that doesn't help the process in accepting what's actually happened.
What happens right after somebody dies?
To the body?
Yeah.
When someone dies, there's this kind of relaxation of all the muscles that happens. So it can be a little bit interesting if someone is really like wrinkly and old, then their face kind of smooths out because the muscles all relax. And then there's a stage a little while later called rigor mortis where everything kind of tightens up and stays in that position for a little while.
Why do you think it's important to talk about death?
It's going to affect everyone at some point, and just creating the space to be able to answer the questions when they come up and when they're ready to receive them is pretty important.
Are you afraid of dying?
I'm afraid of dying like right now. Like if I were in an accident or something suddenly happened to me.
Yeah, so I just started driving, so now I'm thinking about like being a donor and safety and not getting into a big crash on the freeways.
Exactly.
So it's really difficult.
So why do you think death is considered to be such a taboo, and why don't we talk about it more?
Because it's scary. It's admitting that our life is finite and that all this will come to an end, and we don't have any control over when and how that'll happen for the most part.
I wonder what it feels like to die.
Well, not something I want to find out anytime soon.
Me neither.
Yeah. There's no way to fully prepare for your death or someone else dying. There's too many factors that could be involved. But knowing what different options are will certainly make things a little easier to handle when it happens.
Is it expensive?
It is very expensive. It can cost thousands and thousands of dollars to be buried, but it's a piece of land that's going to be used forever.
If you have a lot of money, and then you could go like this.
That's one way to do it. I'm Nora Menken. Thank you for watching Kids Meet a Mortician. If you want to learn more about me and my funeral home, there will be links down below. Check out more Kids Meet videos and don't forget to subscribe. that.